as a pastor, I get it wrong. You know, I don't say perhaps thank you enough to people. You know, and perhaps I don't always encourage people enough. So sometimes I'll get it wrong.
And what advice would you give someone who doesn't feel like they want to be in their church or doesn't want to be under their current leadership? Hi everyone, I'm back with another vlog. I've got on the show today, I've got Pastor Ian.
Hello.
And today Ian's coming on and he's going to be answering some tough questions. But before that, there will be a clip of him in church in action. So you get to see what he's like on a day-to-day, on a Sunday basis. And then, we're going to start asking some questions.
Brilliant.
He is your healer. I bring you good news. He is your hope. And all God's people says, Amen. Amen. Bless you, Lord. Thank you.
So firstly, Ian, can you tell us how long you've been a pastor for?
I've been a pastor for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 years now.
So what's your role? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, my role is, I'm one of the pastors, there's 3 others, but my main role, Sal, is pastoral care of the church, okay? There's the Latin meaning of pastoral care is shepherd, and as you know, a shepherd is supposed to look after their flock, make sure that they're cared for, make sure that they don't get into any danger. And so that's my role. You know, is to look after, if you like, the flock at
the sheep.
The sheep. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And how many people come on a Sunday?
Oh gosh, well we have 3 services on a Sunday, and we have 1 service on midweek on a Wednesday afternoon, and we do a 9:15 service. So and I guess we get about 175 at that at 9:15, and then the 11 o'clock service. That's quite a big service. That's a big family service, and I would say between 450 to 500 people on a Sunday morning. And at the 6:30 in the evening service, again it must be about 80 folk, and then the midweek service we get about 45, so whatever that is, it's a lot of people.
You do the math.
It's a lot of people, but it's great, you know. I just love it. Absolutely.
And it seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What's the most busiest? So I think it's Christmas, isn't it?
So we're obviously Christmas is really busy for us, and but we do a lot of stuff at Easter as well, and we get involved. Children get involved as well at the Easter time and at Christmas. But Christmas is probably
the biggest time.
One of the biggest times.
So how many pastors are in the church for? I know, but
okay, we've got our lead pastor, which is Neil, and then there's myself. Then there's Rob. Rob is a pastor. He looks after the worship. Okay. And then we've got Davey, and he's brilliant. He's he's our youth and children's pastor, and he's only just started, and he's great. And so we've got a really good team. Obviously Neil is the lead pastor, you know, but he's very good at just allowing us to do what we're supposed to do.
Why did you become a pastor?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So I really do believe, that I was called, really called to this. What's really important for me was, you know, when I had this calling, and first of all I checked it out with my darling wife Lorraine, and bless her, because I think it's important that you just get it confirmed. And she said to Ian, I've just been waiting for you to tell me this. And then I just emailed a few close friends that have known me for a long time. So look, this is what I believe God is asking me to do. What do you think? You know, pray about it. Tell me if you don't think it's right, please be honest with me. You know, and all our friends, you know, that just came back and we feel that's right. You should pursue that. And so I did. And this is.
And it takes a lot of boldness to step out, isn't it? And just go for, because it's unknown. It's like,
well, that's right. Yes.
I've never done this before.
No, indeed not. You know, because you know I had to go back to studying. You know, and I haven't done that for a long time. You know, and also, you know, with being a pastor and ask, God asked you to you know, look after one of his churches. One of those churches could be anywhere.
Yeah, it could
you
be.
know, and bless them, my wife and I was just willing to say, wherever God sends us, we'll go. And
did you have any opposition when you first became a pastor? Did you have anyone saying no?
Not at all. No, not at all. No, God was very good. No, not at all.
Yeah. So you just pushed through.
Yeah.
Trusted God. Stepped out.
Yes.
You know, that's amazing. Honestly, that's amazing. That takes a lot of guts.
Well, yeah, I think so. But also, you know, I've loved church. I've always loved church, and I've been a Christian since I was 17. You know, and so I have a real love for God's church and God's people in His church.
Yeah.
So you know,
that makes a massive difference, and it fuels your purpose, doesn't it? Because you're saying, well, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm doing it for these people. They need to receive what God has put inside of me as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
so that's quite powerful.
Yes.
What's the best thing about being a pastor?
I think the best thing about being a pastor is, Sal, you know, I just love seeing people grow in their giftings. You know, I really believe that God all gives us different anointings and different giftings to serve Him, to bring glory to His name. Just, you know, seeing people doing what God has given them to do, you know, and enable them to do it, give them opportunities to do it, you know, and hopefully, if you like, you know, it's something like, it's really nice when you see somebody who's, I don't know, started there, wanted to get there, you know, and when they got there, you had a part of that. You had an influence in that, in guiding them in that, you know, and so you think, you know, it's a bit like you know, and just seeing how you have just trusted in God, especially with this baby group. You know, you're at one place, now you're at this place where it's getting busy, and more people, mums want to come. You know, and that just brings us as a church real joy. Just seeing someone like you that has just dedicated something to Jesus, given it to Him. He's giving it to you to deal with it. You know, and you've taken it by the hands, and you're doing really well with it.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a pastor, or who feels like God has called them to be a pastor, but they're scared? They haven't stepped.
I think for me, Sal, I think, as I said earlier, I think God gave me a real heart for people. Okay, I think He gave me an extra dollop, if you like, of passion for His people. And I think to be a good pastor, you need a real deep love for people, you know, no matter what, you know, and that you just love people no matter what. So hopefully I'm patient, hopefully I'm gentle, hopefully I'm kind, hopefully I'm understanding, you know, no matter what. You know, I'm just expressing some of the characteristics, you know, of Jesus, you know, towards people.
How many hours a week do you work? Because I think people have a perception of pastors that all they do is stand up and talk, and that's it.
Yes.
So what does a typical week, typical day look like for you?
Oh gosh, I don't. To be honest with you, Sal, I don't have a typical day because, you know, if you ever came to church and you would see the main office where myself, Neil, and Davey work, and we have big windows and the door is always open.
What's the hardest thing about being a pastor?
I think sometimes it's when you go and see somebody and their life is just turned upside down, and they're in a real difficult place, you know, and I'd love to go there and wave this magic wand, if you make, to make it all go away, you know, but I can't. But what I can do is, as I mentioned earlier, is just to be with them, you know, on this time where it's really difficult, you know, because, you know, when a loved one does, you know, die, you know, it's just being that support.
And what advice would you give someone who doesn't feel like they want to be in their church, or doesn't want to be under their current leadership?
So if you're in a church where perhaps your pastor or church isn't like that, A, pray for them.
That's
but then B, you know, find someone that you can. You know, come under, ask for guidance, ask for wisdom.
Because as well, emotions are high, isn't it, when they are leaving a church? Because I notice that people get very invested in church. They get very invested. If you're going to church on a regular basis, it's like it's yours. It's your church. It's my church. I hear people say, "It's my church. I'm going to my church today." So it subconsciously belongs to them.
Yes.
And I guess it takes a lot to get to a place where you say, you know, I don't want to be at this church anymore. But I noticed that sometimes people can get, they can do it the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, I feel like as well, even for me, even with my experiences, I've learned about honour. You know,
absolutely.
About honour and just, you know, firstly being honest and just sharing what's on your heart. Like you said, praying. And doing things in a way that is honourable as much as possible.
Yes,
do you see what I mean?
Of course, and at times, as a pastor, I get it wrong. You know, I don't say perhaps thank you enough to people. You know, and perhaps I don't always encourage people enough. So sometimes I'll get it wrong. You know, and hopefully.
So honest.
Well, but it's you know, but there has to be that forgiveness. You know, and because. You know, you don't want people to leave your church, you know, and you want to sort it out, you know, and so I just encourage folk, you know, to pray for your church pastor, your church leader, if you don't feel that they're doing what they should be doing, you know, but find someone else. You know, within the church as well, and, but just pray for your church leaders, because it is a big job. It is a difficult job.
Massive. It's a massive job.
It's a difficult job, you know.
The final question from someone from social media, Paul, are we so inward focused that are meant to be the ones changing the world? Why are we as a church so inward focused? So I think he's talking about being in walls. How can I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, all right? Because I know you'll probably be watching this one. But how can we go beyond the walls? Because I think he's right. There is especially a particular generation. I will do not attack me, okay? Because you know I'm always controversial on these things. But there's a particular generation that just wants to come to church on Sunday, right? But how do we empower and inspire people to go beyond the walls, beyond into the world? Because I notice we have so many people all over the world. It's so culturally diverse.
Absolutely,
how are they empowered to move into those places and shine?
I think all churches have a responsibility to love the community that they're placed in. You know, in the place that we are, we have a real love for our community. Around it. Okay, and so we look after our community. You know, we do things for our community. You know, to draw people into our church. You know, we have our cafe. You know, our church is a real community centre where people do come and use our rooms for children's parties and that kind of thing. And so that's is really powerful, really important. That as a church, you know, that we are loving the community where we are placed. So many people that come to those sort of events sets out. I can remember last year I looked after the bouncy castle, and this gentleman asked me, "Well, how much do I owe you?" I said, "You don't owe me nothing." Wow. No, how much do I owe you? So I said, no, you don't owe me nothing. Your little boy can be on that bouncy castle
as long as he wants.
As long as he wants. We finish at 4, so if he wants to stay on there for the next 6 hours, he is more than welcome. It won't cost you a penny. You know? But the effect that had, you know, on that guy was
expecting nothing in return.
Exactly. So it's just doing those little things. You know, and again, we're very fortunate. We have some really good, committed people that volunteer to cover the whole day. You know, and I think it's just encouraging your church, you know, to care and put on a day aside. We actually just do something to bless the community. You
that's
know,
really
and
powerful.
it is, and because people remember that.
They do.
You know, and
especially because it's free. They're like, well, why is it free?
Well, exactly. Was that guy? As I say, he just couldn't believe it.
In this day and age, nothing's free.
Right. He was expecting to pay for his little boy to be on the bouncy castle. But no, it's free. We just want to bless you. You know, and
that's very innovative. It's very outward thinking. It's very caring. It doesn't make sense, and it's definitely Christ. That's
absolutely.
Christ.